Welcome to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
Well, I'm really excited for you guys to meet today's guest because it's someone that I've personally known for a very, very long time. We were, in fact, trying to figure out when we actually met. And I want to say it was 2007. But he is a Canadian choreographer who has choreographed very large-scale performances and sold-out arenas and global broadcasting events with more than 100 TV episodes to his name, live productions staged before crowds of 100,000 spectators. He's built a reputation for choreography that merges precision, storytelling, and raw emotional impact. He's also received a golden buzzer on France's Got Talent. He also recently was the head choreographer for the opening ceremonies of FIFA World Cup in Toronto. Originally from Montreal, Quebec, Montreal, Quebec, please welcome Alex Francoeur. Hello,
hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. So we got a mixed bag of people. We've got like East Coast, West Coast, Canada, and the US at this point.
I love it. And I saw the British Canadian. I love it.
And then there's a little sprinkle of some French Canadian in there as well. All right. So let's go from the beginning. I know we met, I think, 2007, 19 years ago. You were a competition kid competing at 5, 6, 7, 8 Showtime at the time. But there was obviously a journey before that I don't know. So when did you get started in dance? What did that look like? You know, a guy dancing in Quebec years ago was probably not as common as it is today. So what inspired that beginning?
I started when I was 9 because my mom was like, you have way too much energy. So like, we have to do something with you. So she was like, I'm going to put you in a dance class. And obviously going back in time, it wasn't popular. I was already playing hockey. My dad was my hockey coach.
Oh.
I did not want to dance at all. And my mom is a woman of she doesn't take no for an answer. And I think I got that from her. And she was like, if I get a few guys from your school or your friends around to go to dance with you, would you do it? I was like, nah, sure. And she did. She got two or three boys. I don't remember how many, but 2 or 3 that came for the first session with me. So it was a hip hop class every Tuesday night, an hour and a half. The teacher was a male choreographer too. So for me, it was a lot more like relatable. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the year, I was like, whoa, I love this so much. All the guys left. And I was like, I want to keep going. And the next session, my mom put me into jazz, ballet, hip hop. Back then it was jazz funk. So I was dancing 4 to 5 nights a week. And then I was in the program of the school where competition wasn't yet a big thing in Quebec. We weren't doing competition. It was all convention. It was all like classes and workshops. But you stayed in your own studio and you did your own thing. But I just knew I loved it. I didn't know it was a job. I didn't know you could live from dance. It was just something I was very passionate about. My friends were in my dance school. So it became my entire life without even trying to. So I started, I was 9, and I've never, ever stopped since then.
And that's amazing. And now you're doing the thing that you never knew existed, which was making a living off of dance. How old were you when I met you? If it's 2007, how old were you?
I was barely 16.
Okay, that sounds about right. Yeah, you're a teenager. And then you did the Paris Summer Dance Tour with my brother and I in 2007. And then I didn't see you for a while. So you were a competition kid for a while. What happened after high school? I don't think I know this.
So what I did is I think I only did 2 years of competition, which probably did 5, 6, 7, 8. I did the World Cup at the end of the year, probably did another competition, and that was it. And then after high school, obviously you stop dancing in your hometown school because they have nothing for you. So I'm from the South Shore, so I'm not in Montreal. So already dance wasn't as accessible. We didn't have like audition or anything. So with my mom, we started looking, and I was like, let's find an agency. What does it mean? I don't know. So we found this agent. She ran a dance school in Montreal. So she would train you with choreographers and professional from the industry to make sure you were up to the standard. But she would also give you audition and put you on castings and try to book you on jobs. And that's when I started being like, I don't know if I could do this forever, but like, let's just try it. And I got in the contemporary dance school in Montreal for CEGEP, because in Quebec, after high school, you go to CEGEP, which is kind of the in-between random to go to university here.
Yeah.
Kind of two floating years.
Because you finish high school at 16,
16,
you do
yeah.
CEGEP until 18, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I got into this contemporary program, which they audition and they take only 20 dancers from around the world every year for a 3-year program. So at least I knew I was going to school and I was dancing in school, but doing my main classes like English and French and all that stuff. And then quick enough, I got booked on this artist tour, which she did the Bell Center. For us, the Bell Center is like the biggest stadium in Quebec.
Yeah.
And we went to festivals and stuff. And I didn't know what it meant. And then that's when I got my first union contract. I got into union and I started being like, Mom, I'm getting a check. Like, it's real money. Like, what? Or paid, and like on my TV when I look at dancers, they're paid. I thought it was free work. I thought it was just for fun. I thought it was people that were lucky. You know what I mean? Like nobody around me is an artist. Like my parents are a fireman and a hairdresser. Like we don't, not from this business. I didn't have any in or any like clues. And then that's when I was like, okay, I want to do this for real. So I started taking all the classes, all the audition, asking all the questions. Starting to go to New York a little bit. I would jump on a bus, go for a few days, take as many classes. And soon enough, I want to move to the States. So at 18, I took my bag, left with a few friends for 6 months, because that's the time we are allowed as Canadians to be out of the country. I didn't have a visa, weren't allowed to work, had no money. And we were spending your days at Broadway Dance Center. So we would go there from the morning all the way to the last class. And we would take as many as we could with our financial situation. If not, we would be in the windows and look at every classes. And those are beautiful memories because it was just like I was eating dance. I was just like,
hungry. You were so hungry.
I wanted to learn. I wanted to see. I wanted to have friends that made this career. And after 6 months, I had to come back in Montreal. And at 16, my first real job was dance. And I've never done anything else in my life. Like I've lived off of dance since I was 16. So it's been 16 years of full-time career, which is a little crazy. But I just knew if I figured it out, I would be able to do it. So when I got back, I started working again and going to all the audition. And then I was starting to be in the little circles of dancers. And I knew certain choreographers. When I started, Nico Archambault and Win Holmes, which are Canadian.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Gosh, I haven't heard those names in so long.
Yeah.
Are they still dancing? Are they still in the
Yeah,
business?
they're choreographing.
Okay.
Really big
in Montreal?
project.
In Montreal?
Now they're based in Paris.
Oh, that's why I haven't heard about them.
Based in Paris,
Amazing.
yeah.
I used to dance with Gwen a long time ago. Okay,
Yeah, they're still very active, very into the creative world. So Nico and Win were my, like, I want to say my first mentor, the first people that like actually were straightforward with me to show me the industry and how to handle the industry. And they're today still very, very, very close friend of mine in a different way now because I'm way older and we were able to actually build a real relationship. I have full circles moment like you. Like today we're talking as like peer and as like friends and not just like me looking up to everybody. So it's nice to rebuild those friendship and those connections and in a different way. So when I got back, I started working a lot. I started doing a bunch of TV shows and a bunch of French Canadian work, but I wanted to move to the States. So I did the whole process of getting a lawyer to do my O1 visa, which I'm sure it's already been subject that's been talked about. I just didn't have enough on my resume. I didn't have enough material. And my lawyer was like, you need to work more and have international credit and not French Canadian credit because they didn't know who they were. So that's when I moved to Toronto. So I decided to jump to Toronto because that's when the big industry, American or Anglophone stuff were happening. And that's when I got more mentorship from Mark Samuels, from Paul Becker.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
I got into this cool group of people that were already really established. And I did my first ceremony for the Pan Am Games in Toronto with Paul Becker and Mark Samuels. And how life is full circles. You'll live that later on. But the costume designer of the Pan Am Games, which was Carlos, was the creative director for the opening ceremony of the FIFA World Cup. I did the Pan Am game in 2016, and we stayed in touch and in contact. And he saw me grow and have a career. But it's all because of me choosing to move to Toronto and try something. And it came full circle for me this year with those people.
So was that the connection that got you the FIFA World Cup opening ceremonies?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I got to pause right there, guys. Dancers, this is a huge takeaway. It just goes to show you that the relationships that you build in those early years when you have nothing to give, they have nothing to give you. It's just a genuine friendship. And then that same person is now in a position to hire you, or you're that person that you're in a position to hire that friend that was kind to you. Because I preach this to them all the time, that contacts equals contracts. And usually friends like to hire other friends. People like to hire people they know, like, and trust. And especially when those friends were kind to you before you were somebody. And I mean somebody as in somebody influential. Because back then, maybe you were more of an up-and-coming dancer. He was an up-and-coming whatever costume designer. And now you guys are on much bigger stages, much bigger platforms, and you're in a position to help each other out. So I think that's just super cool. I just wanted to
I mean, for me, it was a big also looking back at everything that happened. And just to pinpoint on that, because I was also a dancer auditioning for a very long time. And I was always like, why are they always hiring their friends or people they know, and why? And now that I'm on the other side of the table, I have the full picture to understand that. And it's mainly because on those jobs, let's say FIFA World Cup, for 3 weeks, I would be with those people from 7 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. We would eat, we would transport together, we would go through stress moments. So you need people that you know you will have a good time, because it's work, but it's also an environment where you want to enjoy. Like, it's our passion. We're creating. We're in a space where it's supposed to be fun. So that's why a lot of connections needs to turn into real relationship and genuine connection, because you're going to have to spend so many days with those people. And it's something that I've learned now that I'm on the other side, because I have to hire so many dancers throughout the year. And I'm like, but am I going to have fun? Yes, I'm going to pick the best talent for the job and the best casting that I need to. But there's so many dancers. So many talents, so many different casting. Who am I going to have the most fun? And to me, that's how I was as a dancer. Anybody, even today, I would go say hi to the technician, to the person that opens the door of the theater that doesn't even work for the company, but she's still part of the process. And I'm meeting that person today. It's also just human. We are all in the same production. And whether you're on stage, behind the stage, behind a curtain, we're all part of the same picture. And to me, that was one of the main value of my career. I'm just here. Like, I just want to be with people, do my job, have fun. And that relationship grew over time without any pressure and any like, when are you going to hire me? Because it wasn't built on that. And then today, friends of mine that we didn't know I would become a choreographer, it wasn't planned at all. I'm supposed to still dance full time. That was my vision board. So
It's
now I
okay. It's
all my
okay.
peers,
Hey, it's
you
even
know?
sweeter. It's even sweeter. You get
Yeah.
to choreograph now. And okay, so I want to rewind a little bit because you said you went to Toronto. How long
Yeah.
were you there? Because you eventually got the O1 and you eventually ended up in LA for a period, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
So I did 2 years in Toronto.
Okay.
So it allowed me to do, back then we had the Much Music Video Awards, which was the MTV Awards in the States.
Yeah.
So I got on that show the chance to perform with Ariana Grande, with Jason Derulo, with Kaida. And
Nice.
that allowed me to build a strong resume to apply for my O1.
Yeah.
Got my O1 right away. And I moved to New York first. I
Oh,
wanted to be in New York. I wanted to be closer to home. I loved New York because I kept going back and forth. So I knew the city, I knew the people. And I signed with Clear Talent in New York first. So I moved there for a year. And then it was great. I had the best time. I loved the city, did a few jobs. But the O1 wouldn't allow me to audition for Broadway or for any TV show there. It wouldn't let us back then. I don't know if it's still the case today, but you couldn't
okay.
even get to the audition. So I was
Wow.
like,
Okay.
how am I going to work? Okay, so I called my mom random on a Saturday and I was like, I'm packing my stuff and I took a flight to LA. And she's like, you've never been there. Where are you going to stay? I was like, there's another Canadian friend, Randy Liberman, which she's from Montreal. I'm going to go on her couch. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I took a flight, left for LA.
One-way ticket.
Yeah, got there, didn't know anybody. I'd never been there. And I did 2 visas in total. So I was 6 years between a little bit of New York, the rest LA, coming back to Montreal to, work, make a little bit of money, go back to LA. So I was there until I was 26.
Okay. And then what brought you back to Montreal?
Life is strange. Never had planned to come back to Montreal. And we have this TV show in Quebec, which is called Révolution, which can kind of be the World of Dance TV show in the States with J-Lo, Neo, and Derek Huff. So season 1 happened in Quebec. It was a big success. I wasn't aware of it because I didn't have cable or I wasn't watching French TV in LA. Season 2 came around. Production kept calling me. We want you on the show. Can you come on the show? And I was like, I am not coming to compete. I will not come back to Quebec for that. And they kept calling so much that I was like, you know what? I'll do 1 episode and I'm out. So I took a flight, took my little suitcase. So literally 2 t-shirts, a pair of jeans. And I was like, I'm doing 2 days of rehearsal because I told them like I would do it with my partner, my dance partner, which is another Alex. And we're a contemporary duet. And I was like, I'll do it with him. I'm coming for 2 days of rehearsal. We'll shoot 1 day and then I'm out. So did the first audition. We got picked on the show. And I had this moment of like, it's so nice to be back home to dance in front of my parents, to reconnect with the people that haven't seen me dance in 6 years because if I'm on a TV show, nobody's going to come see us dancing. So it was a very long time before my parents saw me dancing live. So then this TV show, technically, if you make it all the way to the end, it's 6 months of filming. So it's like a TV show, like America's Got Talent. All those TV shows, it doesn't show, but it's a very long time of your life. And we kept going. Every 2 weeks, there was another round, and we kept going further and further and further and further, all the way to the finale.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting that. And semifinal, we decided to tell the story about a son coming out to his father. And this number went viral all around the world. So from that moment, we got called everywhere in the world to perform our duet. So it kind of changed I'm not going back to LA. It's already been 6 months. I have an apartment. It's empty. And the show was such a success that they decided to go on a live tour.
Oh, wow.
We had 2 weeks to prepare. We sold 50,000 tickets in 2 weeks. We went on a sold out tour for another 2 months. And then in the middle of it, pandemic hits. So then that's when I was like, okay, I have a life choice to make. Do I keep that going or I go back to LA and I don't know what I'm doing. So I decided to go to LA with a friend. We were secretly on America's Got Talent. We were doing this at the same time as the tour. So we would do a show in Quebec, let's say city. We would take a flight, go to LA, shoot for America's Got Talent. That also got cut in the middle of pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And then and that's when, life happens for a reason. Those America's Got Talent contract or Got Talent around the world, it's very, 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 there's a lot of rules. And obviously you're not allowed to do different Got Talent at the same time. But because it got canceled, then France Got Talent called us and they're like, just come to France, do the show. Pandemic, there's nothing to do. Sure, let's hop on a flight, let's go. And then we got a golden buzzer in France, which exploded our career all around the French community.
That's amazing. I didn't know this. I can't believe that. That's amazing. I'm happy for you.
It was that's when I was like, dancers have a voice. Because at that moment, that's when life for me changed, because I became a public figure in the media. I became someone that would go to interview. So I had to learn how to communicate, how to have an interview, how to answer a question, how to represent a brand. But I didn't know you were allowed to do that. In my head, it was like, you're a backup dancer. You stay behind an artist. You don't say anything. And then that was a big shift for me to be like, oh, I could be my own brand. I'm a business. I could actually carry Alex's brand. Like, I don't need anybody. I could just run my business. And that when for me, the switch really happened to switch my mentality of like, oh, wait, I could create those jobs. And then Alex and I became a duet that would be called on award show, on performances, but as an act and not just dance behind a singer. We would refuse to dance behind a singer. We would be the singer. So that was a big switch for me. That was very interesting because I had never experienced or seen that. Nico Archambault was the closest to that. Nico was a very famous dancer and personality in Canada, but we hadn't seen anybody else yet. So it was a very big like, wow, this is fun because I get to actually be me. I get to play me and not another
character.
Dancer. Yeah, which I love too, but I didn't know you were allowed to do that. So for me, it was a very big like, let's open that door and let's just go. Let's have fun with that.
That's amazing. Okay, so pandemic hit. Obviously, we all kind of went through this whirlwind for a couple of years there. Then there was a shift that I noticed on your social media. It felt like you seem to be doing more castings now. And obviously you shifted into the choreography space. And then I think you have your own convention. Is that still going as well?
Yeah. So the switch happened right after that TV show. Obviously, our exposure was 10 times bigger. So a big producer in Quebec called me. I didn't know her, out of the blue, saying like, I was touched by your art. I was touched by how you do your stuff. Do you want to choreograph a TV show? And that is the biggest primetime TV show every Saturday night in Quebec. So it's like millions of viewers every week. And I just said yes. I don't know. I said yes.
You're like, what am I doing?
What am I doing? And then I quickly realized, like, without knowing, I trained that part because I assisted Nico and Paul Becker and so many choreographers for over 10 years because I loved it. I wanted to serve the choreographer. I wanted to be in every room, but I wasn't in a mode of, I want to take their job. I didn't want to be a choreographer, but that was offered. So I was like, I'm going to try. And literally the first week, I was like, this is the most amazing thing in the world because I get to be part of the creative process. I get to be in a project for longer than 2 days rehearsal, one shoot, bye. I worked for weeks on a project. I could give ideas. I work with the creators of the lightings, the cameras. And that's when I was like, oh, I didn't know I had that in me. I really love creating. I really love being part of a team and not just receiving, not the order, but the command. And this is what you got to do, do it. So the switch started slowly. I would also dance in the project. I would choreograph because I was like, I want to dance. And then slowly I was like, no, I got to just be out, do my job and make sure it's 100% fulfilled. And with all that exposure, I was looking for a sense of making a difference because it's nice to put on your resume. It's nice to do it for yourself. But I felt like as a dancer, I did that for so long to just think about my career, my goals. And I couldn't just keep going like that. And then that's when I was like, there's a whole community here that's looking for advice, for dance, for anything that could happen. And growing with convention, I randomly asked the city where I'm from, listen, it's pandemic, all the studios are closing, we're losing talent. And because you're a city, you're allowed to host an event. So I was trying to find the rules. Can I just host a 1-day event with workshops? So I called Kim Gingras, I called Mel Charlot, I called Jean-Marc Généreux, I called a few friends. Let's just teach, and everybody, and that's when you realize community is huge. Everybody around now they're my like technical team, but back then I didn't know them. I just asked them, do you want to jump on board and do it for the kids? And everybody just said yes. And we put on this 1-day event. We had 180 dancers with a mask, dancing all day long, sweating, not complaining. And I just felt magic. I just felt like this is a way bigger purpose for me than just thinking about my career. So I decided to turn it into a company. So now we're doing convention in 3 countries. So we have
3 countries.
We're doing Paris, Brussels, and Quebec.
Wow! So it's all French then. French
we're doing all the French.
That's amazing.
We have choreographers from all around. So we had Jeremy Hudson, who just associate choreographer on Taylor Swift. We've had, 70 something choreographers so far from around the world coming in to teach.
That's amazing.
And now I realize like we have an impact because we have close to 2,500 to 3,000 registration a year of students from around the world coming in, and French dancers coming into Quebec and taking classes here. And the mixture of culture in dance just made it like, wow. I don't sleep a lot. I work a lot. It makes sense.
Welcome to the club.
It just makes sense. So that company just became a way bigger purpose. So I had to learn how to be a CEO. I had to learn how to manage a business with employees, with a whole system. And that is now evolving into production. So we're producing shows, we're producing events. And there's that whole side of me that I didn't know existed. And again, I just took the door and went for it. So it kind of very switched in the last few years. My job is to choreograph. That's what I mainly do. And then after rehearsal, I focus on the company and I sleep later at night.
When you can, when you're dead. No, I'm just kidding.
We try.
No, I totally get it. But you know what? I think where you are now, I think you've already done the training and you didn't even realize you did it, because assisting those choreographers for a decade, you were already in the rooms. You already saw the creative process. You just were in the lead at that moment. So when it was time to step up to the plate, you already knew what to do instinctively. You just didn't realize you wanted to do it. And then same with all these productions and producing the events and all that stuff, you were a part of conventions and all that stuff as staff. So you were also able to see how things were operated and be able to say, okay, I like this, I don't like this, I want to do things my way. And then, of course, I'm sure there's a lot of it where it's a lot of guesswork and a lot of trial and error in the process.
And like at the end of the day, you realize like there's errors, but even as a dancer and as a choreographer, as artists, you're not going to be perfect. But if you're just genuine, human, and you're just doing things out of passion, there's nothing you can do that's like really mean or very wrong. And it's just about making choices that are clear, that are guiding you in a direction and trying to remove the noise. For me, the noise was very like the dancers I look up to dance for Beyonce, dance for Mariah Carey. So my version of success was to dance behind Beyonce. I'm 5'6". I am a white, tiny man. I just passing, and I cannot change that. But it took me so long to understand that if I'm true to myself, I don't care about Beyonce. I don't want it. It's not something I'm excited about, but I thought I didn't think I had success if I didn't achieve that. Until I started realizing, whoa, my biggest dream is Disney. That's what I like. I'm a Disney kid. I go to Disney 75 times a year. That's what I love. So why am I blocking myself because it's not cool? to go in that direction. And the day I stopped being so focused on other people's opinion, that's when everything aligned. And even as a choreographer, I am not trying to choreograph for Beyonce either today. I'm trying to choreograph production, shows where I get to create an hour and a half long with characters. And that's why I specialize in TV and film. I got my little niche and I know how to work with actors. I know how to work with people that don't know how to dance. And that's a strength I developed through the years that for, I don't know, dancers, it might not be cool because it's not a big artist. But for me, I'm super passionate. And now I respect what I'm passionate about. And you'll find those little moments of like, is it for me or it's because people are doing it? And that's a very big difference to kind of move quicker in the direction you're supposed to go. And that's how I try to make decisions as a choreographer to go in projects that I'm called for, that I love what it stands for, that the people in it are creatively challenging me, that are also nice people that I love to work with. But it's been a big switch and a big transition to also let the dancer behind in the what I knew, because that's also a big transition. There's a side of you that's going to have to accept that you are not doing the things the same way, because I wasn't expecting to stop dancing so quick. But the beauty of it is now I take class all the time, but for fun. I don't expect anything.
Yay! And I just did that this week and it feels so good. I just took a class just because I want to take a class.
Yeah, I just show up to class. I don't even care because I don't expect anybody to hire me. I don't want anybody to film me. I don't care. I'm just there to reconnect with. It's so nice to be in a room with people sweating, moving.
Yeah, get a good workout.
You know, it's just nice. So like,
feels good.
now I'm in that spot where I
feel you.
reconnect with the love of it, you know?
I feel you. Well, speaking of choreography and productions, we got to talk about the big production that you just did. No big deal. Opening ceremonies for FIFA World Cup in Toronto. Hired over 100 dancers?
125.
125 dancers. Congratulations. That is major. And fun fact, dancers, he sent a message months ago about I'm having this big casting and I can't say what it is. And I was like, I need some details. And he's like, don't worry, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. He never, and I shared it in the community. I don't know who actually went, but that was the big project that you weren't able to tell me all the details.
It was, when you don't expect a project like that and it comes, I couldn't believe it. I remember I got the call July 2nd at 8:13 a.m.
July 2nd of this year?
Of last year.
Oh,
so I've been on this project for a year.
So you've been working on this for a year? Wow.
The moments were slower, but
yeah, of course.
I was part of the creating team.
Okay.
I was involved in all the process, and that's the part that I'm the most grateful about is that I was able to be sitting in rooms to understand and learn from so many other departments. And now I feel as a choreographer, I went to university. I just now have finally my degree in all the other departments, in lighting, in camera, in how to, the stage building and just how they do all these stuff, because everything was everybody from around the world. I was in the process. I think we were 2 Canadians.
That's it? Really? A big Canadian
from
production hired 2 Canadians? Jeez Louise.
Because it's not a Canadian production.
Oh, what country? Is it American?
Well, it's from you. It's from Milano, but it's a production that did all the ceremonies. So they did the one in LA.
Oh.
Mexico. So I would also know what was going on in LA, in Mexico, just because everything was under one
So
roof.
there was one big team that had multiple little teams in every city.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. And this was all because of the connection of the creative director who was once the costume designer from a decade ago. Okay,
Correct.
you got the job. I'm assuming you signed all these NDAs and couldn't tell anybody what was going on. So basically, you were lying to everybody for a year.
Yep.
Okay, so I remember vaguely in the spring, was it the auditions?
We did the
March?
audition in February, March.
February? Okay. I
Yeah.
vaguely remember that. How many dancers submitted? How many actually auditioned? And you said you booked 125. I'm just curious to know the numbers of how that all transpired.
In person, we got 600 and something.
Woo!
For a Toronto
many-
audition, that's huge.
Yeah, well, that's huge for any audition. Now, was there a picture? Was there a video submission before that, or was it an open call?
It was an open call, but they had to register first, so we knew who was coming.
Who was
we
coming,
had
okay.
6 different audition sessions. So I had to run 6 times the same audition,
That's a lot of people.
a process because I gotta give the same amount of energy and of knowledge and of what I'm looking for to all the dancers. Whether you're passing first or last, you deserve the same attention and the same amount of respect. So it was a very long weekend, but I felt like the community needed that. And to reconnect everybody, so many people flew, so many people took a chance. And I'm grateful
Not knowing what it is, right? Because you didn't
knowing what it is.
They didn't even know what they were auditioning for. That's wild. So 600 people show up, a couple days of auditions. You ended up booking 125, you said, dancers. At what point did you guys start rehearsing? How long was that process?
We had in Toronto 3 weeks.
Okay.
All the creative team. The dance each had 5 days.
Oh, so not very much time.
It wasn't that much time. But
so you had to just blast it out. And did you have a choreography team under you, like an associate
I had
group?
4 choreo team.
Okay.
That were with me from the first 3 weeks basically. So they were with me for 3 weeks. So that's when it's important, those people that are so close to you, because we slept at the hotel together. We had meetings in the morning, at night, in the bus together. They would have to deal with all the emotions coming in from every department.
The highs and lows. And who was your choreography team? Do I know anybody?
I had Mel Mitro.
Yes, Melissa. Worked with her many times.
If you don't know her, she lived in the States as well. She's a very big choreographer in Canada.
From Toronto originally. She was on So You Think You Can Dance for one season. And I judged and taught with her with 5, 6, 7, 8 Showtime as well. So same kind of connection. Love that. Keep going. Who else?
I had Felipe Garcia, which she's a choreographer from Belgium.
Okay, cool.
I brought a choreographer from Belgium. Okay. And then I had 2 assistants, Stephanie and Angelique, which are my real personal assistant in dance and business and all of that in Quebec.
Okay, amazing.
So they work with me all year long. They're stuck with me. So I have my 4 choreo team.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. We really had a blast.
That is amazing. So what were the emotions when you finally saw everything come together on that? Because, I mean, that's got to be the biggest live production that you've ever done.
Yeah. It's technically it's bigger than Super Bowl. For us, it's not in...
No, I know it is. I know, but it's
bigger than Super Bowl, and I didn't understand that until I was on the job.
Yeah, FIFA is no joke. We just had some dancers. We had some mentees did FIFA World Cup finals halftime with Shakira. It was like 1 billion viewers. Like
crazy,
insane the amount of viewership. So, and who were the artists that you were working with? Because there was multiple artists that you worked with in addition to the dancers.
Alessia Cara.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Canadian singer. She's, she did the Grammy, she did the Oscar. She's phenomenal. We had Nora Fatehi, which she's Canadian. She does live in Dubai.
Okay.
But she's like the queen. Like she's 250 million followers on Instagram. Like she's a sensation. And it's beautiful because she showed up to every rehearsal. She asked for private. They work really hard. We have Veggie Dream, which is a rapper from Paris. We had Sanjoy, which is also from Dubai, I believe.
Okay.
And we had Aliana, and we had Jessie Reyes, which is also Canadian. And we had First Nation artists as well with us that opened the show, which was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we had quite a lot of different.
Yeah, it's very international.
Yeah, it was very different. Everybody had their own branding. So we also had to cater.
Put it all together.
Yeah, it was just I was expecting this job to be very, very, very stressful and very hard to deal with. And it's probably the most human and easygoing job I've ever had.
Wow.
Because the people were communicating, were nice, were helping each other. We were a team. And I've learned so much from that I will never not keep that tradition going into how you should cater a job. It was just the best feeling ever. No
I love
fight,
it.
no yelling. Nobody would ever yell at anybody. And to me, I'm like, this is how it should be. This is how we should communicate on a set between professional, between creative, with respect and just consideration. So it was very beautiful for that.
Well, that's a beautiful testament that everybody that was hired was probably at the top of their game and professional and knew what they were doing. So, and left their check their egos at the door, which is rare. When usually when you have a large cast and crew, there's always a few personalities that clash and you got to deal with them. But the fact that you're telling me that all the cast and crew were pleasant to deal with and not stressful, especially something of that magnitude, that's a rare experience. So good.
It's rare, and I'm happy my first like open ceremony was
big
like
thing.
this, because I just have so many good memories and I just want to do another one. Like I'm ready for the next one.
Creative director next time.
Yes. I saw Carlos, how much he has to work. I'm gonna leave that to him.
Well, that's what you said about choreographers. I'm just saying. You just said that you're laughing now, but watch in 10 years, you'll be like, I feel like I did everything I could in choreography. And I've been studying how the lighting designers and the costume designers and the set designers and everybody that's doing all these different departments, that's creative directing that whole team that you just talked about. So
in a few years.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just calling it out right now. And we'll laugh at this conversation and be like, she called it. Yeah. I know. All right. So I know I could talk to you all day because we haven't caught up in many years. It's been a hot minute. So, but I do want our Business of Dance mentees to have an opportunity to talk to you. And who would like to go first? Zoe, our French Canadian.
So, hi, my name is Zoe Matters. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Prince Edward Island in Canada. Me and my mom have watched Revolution like a bunch since I was like younger because like Canadians, French, like all that. And my question was, how would you say competing on Revolution helped you grow as a dancer and performer? And what was your most like memorable and most proud of moment?
Wow. Well, nice to meet you. Please come to Quebec and don't be a stranger.
Yes.
Revolution, I think, was for me the turning point, which most people don't know. But let's say that show, obviously you're presenting a dance number, which is approximately 1:30. So people think we're just doing this. But technically, the production is giving us the key, and we're giving them the lighting we want, the background, the costume, the ambiance, the song. We're part of the creation of the entire number, which again, I was always a backup dancer or on a movie, on a TV show. So I was never part of those discussions. So it really challenged me when they're like, okay, where's your mood board? So I had, as an artist and as a creator, I had to learn, what do I like? What do I want? What do I want to say? What are we trying to communicate? All the way until at the end, I was like, okay, director, I want this shot. And he was like, okay, I love it, but this is my job. I was like, sure, but I want this shot. So that's when I also learned in the studio to shoot my number how I want it to look. Because then they have no other possibilities. They don't know the other angles. So so for me, that process was a lot of like questioning all the other, and for those of you that are competing, are you guys competing? Sure, probably.
Yeah,
right?
some are. The teens and kids are, maybe not the adults, but yes.
You definitely have a choreographer, which is great. But you can also at the beginning of the season sit with that choreographer and bring in a mood board and question yourself and talk with your choreographer, like, what is our story? What are we trying to say? How am I going to dress that's going to fit that? Imagine the lighting. I know you don't have the control in competition for that, but if you imagine it, you're going to dance differently. So for me, that was the first time I was like face to face with that reality of like, I actually have to do it in front of 1,300,000 people. I got to figure it out. So I really had a good time learning from that. Definitely things I would do different today, but it was a good first experience. And I think the thing that I'm the most proud of, if you watch the show, what happened is we went all the way to the finale. And at the finale, my partner got hired from Cirque du Soleil in Milano. So he left the show. So I ended up doing the finale by myself. And it was the first time ever I danced a solo in front of millions of people on TV, crying, but very proud.
Oh,
Again, show me that I'm capable of like going above and beyond and standing on my own. And that really brought a lot of good into trusting myself, trusting that I have the tools, trusting that this is what I have to offer, take it or leave it, but this is what it is. So I'm very proud of, all that journey that went through something that's very vulnerable and very public. Because even today, it's been 7 years. And today I went to the bakery, random somewhere in Montreal, and I get stopped every single day about that. So it's very rewarding to know you made an impact on society about the subject that you brought on TV. Because every week we brought dementia, we brought being gay with our father, we brought Alzheimer, we brought so many subjects that's what people relate to. And dance is just a context, it's just something we do, but it's bigger than dance. It's what are we saying? What are we talking about? And treat your competition solo or duo or groups like that because you're communicating something. You're an artist. You're not a dancer. Dancing is another word. You're an artist. That's what you are.
love that. Thank you so much,
Thank
Zoe.
you.
All right, next up we have Hadley.
Hi, my name is Hadley Leaders. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Austin, Texas. And my question is, when creating choreography, what inspires your creative process and helps you develop a unique vision for a piece?
Hi. My process is very I'm based on character, whether it's an artist, whether it's a TV show or a movie. This morning, I was choreographing for a TV show, which is a female artist that is performing her brand new song. And I was like, just send me the song. I'm going to listen to it once. And I had to make my own story of like, okay, it's 3 girls beating up this guy. And then they're going to this place and then they're going to have baseball bat. And like, they're not going to have that on stage. But I had to create those characters. I never do movement first, ever. I barely do movements before even getting in the studio. I just have to know, okay, this chorus makes me feel like I want to break everything. Okay, this chorus has another meaning, or I feel like somehow it just has to touch each other or connect. I just have those like stories that I don't judge. I kind of just like pile them. And then, in the course of the few days, I'm going to erase some ideas. I'm going to make sense of them. And then when I get to rehearsal, movement is super easy because the feeling and the character and the story from beginning to end is so clear that movement is movement. So all day long, I could judge this or this or this. That could change all day long. But if what I'm trying to say is clear, then the artists or the dancers know what to do. And then it's just creating some movement and figures and shapes. But I'm very, very much in my head at home. It could get very crazy at times because you're getting very obsessed about this image. But yeah, I kind of see shapes, colors, and yeah, I'm not crazy, but it can crazy.
You're an artist. You're so franco-canadien. It's like, it's art. Just feel it. Just
very Cirque du Soleil.
yes. Well, Montreal is a very artistic city. So I'm sure there's a lot of artistic inspiration in that city.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Lee. Next up,
Thank you.
Sophia.
Hi, my name is Sophia Nelson. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. And my question is, what are some tips or something you would say to a dancer trying to find their choreographic style?
I would say first, go take classes of any kind of styles just to get the movement of other styles and see things that you're like, I took Bollywood class. I will never probably choreograph Bollywood. That's not my goal. but I wanted to understand the musicality of it. I wanted to understand how are they moving, and like there's so many movements you could do in life. Like everything's been created. So technically every style will kind of have inspiration of each other. And sometimes it's to take the Bollywood influence, but then you're like, I'm a house dancer. How can I merge it closer to my world? So you don't see the Bollywood, but my house is different than the house from the other person for any style. That's how I loved. And still today, I'll challenge myself to take just random classes to challenge also new material, new information. But for me, it was a lot of skeleton crew. So especially when I had jobs that I was like, these are very important for me. These are very high scale that I want to show that I'm the best at it. I would take FIFA. I took 2 weeks of full skeleton crew with my team in a studio. That was an ask, but I was like, I just want to get all the bad ideas out to try to find the right ones. So don't be afraid to call your friends. You don't need like professional dancer. You just need bodies. You need people that would just respect you in the studio to be bodies for you to explore and then film everything. Because then when you're in the process, you don't see everything. There's so much going on. Film everything, go back home and look at it. Critique your work, not in a bad way, just in a way of like, it doesn't read. So why does it not read? Okay, well, I need to be bigger. I need to feel more. I film every rehearsal. Up to today, I will never leave rehearsal without filming, without any material for the dancers, but also for me. Because it's material to come back the next day to rehearsal and be like, I don't know why I didn't like it, but by watching it now, I understand I'm going to change this part. It doesn't feel right with the music. So that's how I kind of like, the same way as a dancer you train, you got to train as a choreographer. And by training, it doesn't exist. So create a space, bring people in, or choreograph on yourself and film yourself. And then be like, again, tomorrow, again, let's find a new song, a random song. I don't know that song. I got to choreograph to it because I get thrown songs. I don't like them all, but I still got to make magic and I still got to make it come alive. So it's by throwing those little challenges that you have in you that we just have to like do it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Now, one term you mentioned for the dancers that don't know, can you explain what a skeleton crew is?
A skeleton crew is always before rehearsal. So let's say FIFA, I had 3 weeks of rehearsal. But before that, sometimes production budget it, and other times choreographer just take this time to try ideas, to try anything they want without having to have a result done because we have rehearsal coming up next week. So it's always like a pre-rehearsal. Sometimes big movies will always have a choreographer skeleton, but for artists, for small projects, for TV show, often the choreographers is just gonna try to create in the studio. For the dancer, that is the place that you want to get into because that's when you can show that you're trustable to a choreographer, that you know how to do his material. And that's when I could be like, her work ethic is great. I could trust her on the job. So let's bump her on the job. So anytime I would see from any choreographer in LA or anywhere in the world, looking for skeleton Tuesday, 2 p.m., who's available? Me, I'm here, I'm there. It's a free class, basically.
Get in the room. Get in the room.
You just want to show that you're trustable, that you're fun to work with. And that's how you build a relationship with the choreographer. In class, it will take you years. In a skeleton crew, 2 days, I know who you are. I know your name. I know how you function. I know if you're late. So that moment, treat it as a job. Because if you are not on top of your game, that's what I'll remember of you. So a skeleton.
And sometimes it is a job. Sometimes, like I did skeleton crew with Paula Abdul. I didn't do the job. It was for Reefer Badness, an off-Broadway musical in New York. But she needed a skeleton crew in LA to just, we were her guinea pigs where she was just trying and exploring things. And that was the job, skeleton crew. I did the same thing for Barbara Streisand with Tony Basil, skeleton crew. So for dancers, You may not know there's actually a job title called skeleton crew as a dancer where you don't actually do the job. You don't actually dance it in the job, but you're kind of part of the creative process before the job actually happens. And sometimes you get to do both. Sometimes you can be skeleton crew and be the dancer that actually does the job. Sometimes I see that happen as well.
And often for me, what happened for skeleton crew too was, let's say I was doing the skeleton crew, but I would be the shadow of a singer. Happened, the choreographer kept me the entire job because I would teach the artist or the singer the part that I'm supposed to do. So then the choreographer could focus on other stuff. So sometimes it's also, you're really like becoming an assistant like that because I'm learning a full part and I also have to teach it. I have to be aware of, okay, he's trusting me. I have his choreography reputation in my hands and I have to deliver the product. So there's different ways for skeleton, but essentially it's just a pre-rehearsal situation that you want to be in.
100%. All right. Thank you, Sophia, for your question. Imogen, you are up next.
Hi, my name is Imogen Elligood. I'm 12 years old and I'm based in Vancouver, BC. My question is, when you got the job for FIFA World Cup, were you like, how did you feel? Like, were you really excited? Were you nervous? Were you worried you couldn't do it? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
I cried. I cried very hard because it came through an Instagram DM. So I was not expecting it. I called my manager being like, is this a joke? Is this a prank? Obviously, it came from Carlos that I knew. So, but I was just very like, there's a mistake for sure. I cannot answer that yet. There has to be a mistake. I obviously didn't know what it entailed. So I was just like, why me? Why? And basically what happened is the night before I choreographed Canada Day, which is our national celebration. It's all big Canadian stars that comes to perform. And Carlos was the stage creator of that, but he wasn't on site. I saw him on Zoom and stuff. And they introduced the FIFA at the Canadian show.
Okay.
They were like, we are proud hosts of the FIFA World Cup this year. Again, I did my job to the best of my ability, not thinking, what's the next? No, today, this is the job I have to do. And I had 40 something dancers on that show. And they all watched the show and they texted me the next day, like, your work is amazing. You're ready for it. Do you want to do FIFA World Cup? So it took me a full 24 hours before even
responding.
I definitely responded. I don't wait that long, but it took me 24 hours to be like, is it like a small show in the street? Like, is it like a small version of the real thing? Like,
yeah, but that's true though. There are little mini shows.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things
that are happening around the event. So yeah, that could have been the job. So yeah, until you got the confirmation, no, this is in the big stadium.
Yeah, until you get the contract.
Yeah, the contract signed.
Actually, but I was very grateful. Like the best feeling was to be grateful about this opportunity. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Next up, we have Alyssa.
Hi, Alex. My name's Alyssa. I'm 25 and I'm from Canada, New Brunswick. My question is more about like the visa. What kind of work did you have to do in order to get a good enough resume to get a visa?
I had to move to Toronto. That's for sure.
What?
I had to move in another big city. Now Montreal has enough big international things today that I wouldn't have today to move to Toronto to do that. And then I had to hire a lawyer, which was thousands and thousands of dollars. And essentially, you have to build a portfolio of 600 pages. So the main
first was 600. Good gosh.
Yeah. So it was quite a lot. But essentially, the big thing that like I had to really work on was big names that I worked in Canada. Like I needed big work that happened here. I needed media coverage. So even if it's in New Brunswick, a little like newspaper in your town, try to get that right now. Let's have them talk about you. You need your name, at least your name or your face, or like talk about what you did on Révolution with a newspaper or blog or anything online that could have traces. I needed a lot of those. Back then, it was hard to have that. So I had to like write to random newspaper, hey, do you want to talk about me to help me achieve my dream to go to the States? And I finally had little papers, and I made my way by asking people. And then I needed help from the States. So that's when I would do a lot of trips because I needed to be signed with an agency. I needed a deal memo, which is a proof of work in the States. So I needed choreographers or production to confirm that there was potential work for me coming in. So I needed a schedule of, in January, he's going to work this job, make this much money. February, March, for 3 years, which is, when you get into it, they explain it better, and it's fine. It's just like, you got to do it. So it took me a year to put that file together, finish the process, pay the whole thing. But yeah, keep all the traces. You go to a show, you have a little backstage, artist pass,
the credibility, little credit things, the lanyards,
all these things that's on my wall. You got to keep these things. These are your golden passes as proof. Anything. I remember I would even, let's say we would do a show on the loge. There was a paper that said dancer loge. I would take it at the end of the show, bring it home, and have them. Like, I would keep everything to put a file together, because the sentence is, you got to prove you are in the 3% talent of your country.
Yeah. Okay.
So you just got to show up and showcase that you are extraordinary. Obviously, we all put butter.
Extraordinary is the key word. Extraordinary talent.
But then you have a lawyer that writes all of it with you in the right sentence and all of that. So you don't have to worry about words and sentence, but more about, where do I have to go to be in opportunities on stage? I need to even if it's not paid work to start, it's okay. You got to start somewhere, and you got to put credit, and you got to meet choreographers.
Well, you just had a win, Alyssa, that maybe you need to go do a press release. I connected her to Enola Bédard. I'm sure you know her from Quebec, who is also a part of Révolution. Years ago, she just did a collab video that literally just released this, actually several videos that are released this week. So take a screenshot once it goes viral, because everything from Enola goes viral, a screenshot, and you're there, and you could say that this video went viral and you worked with a choreographer that had 25 million followers, leveraging that, write a press release to your local media, because no offense, there's probably not a lot going on somewhere where you are.
Nope.
So you probably can make the front page of your local paper. Alyssa comes back from Hollywood and shoots viral videos with Enola Bédard, Canadian, influencer, dancer, blah, blah, blah. That's a story. That becomes a media clipping. And then stay in contact with Enola. Maybe that's somebody you can reach out to for a letter of reference. You actually already have momentum just this week alone. You could leverage to prepare for what he's talking about one day.
And the thing is, especially at your age, think yourself as a business.
Yeah.
You're a business. You run a business, which is yourself. And there's things that we're not taught as artists to take the lead and to go forward and do actions. We are taught to wait, go to an audition, but there's stuff that you gotta go above and beyond to think and brainstorm and have moments of like, let's think crazy. But then what Menina is saying, nothing in that is crazy.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're like, oh, this is great. All you have to do is send an email to the newspaper. That's not crazy. The worst that can happen if they don't answer. That's the worst that can happen. You know what I mean? So it's like, you build that career with action and by little pieces that you're trying to, and that's my manager that taught me that, is there's a bunch of things, right? We all have a bunch of projects, but if you don't put any wire and links all of them, then they all belong by themselves and they don't exist. They're just little bubbles. Once you attach everything, you have a full career and you have a full path that makes sense. So sometimes it's to think of those things of like, I did something with Enola. Okay, perfect. The video is done. But if you're just, this is done, I'm going somewhere else, you're always going to be like, done, go, instead of, how can I run this even further.
Leverage it. Leverage it. What can I squeeze all the milk out of the cow on this one? Even you're just a whole week of this week, the whole VIP day, you took class with Tina Landon and Travis Payne, learned original choreography from Michael Jackson. You're a part of the podcast with Tina Landon and Travis Payne. You were met up with your mentor. You can leverage my credits. Go for it. You did that day connected you to Enola. The next day, you're dancing on Hollywood Boulevard. Dude, that's a story.
Yeah.
For New Brunswick, that's definitely a story.
Yeah.
That's true. For New Brunswick, yes.
Trust Cage, okay? That's the local news. I'm serious. I mean, reach out to me afterwards. I helped the other mentees that just did FIFA World Cup. They just got Fox News and ABC and NBC News. We did the press releases immediately right after. Dancers they're not trained to do this stuff. You do a job and you're like waiting for the next opportunity to call you. No, you leverage. You just did a job. Great. Tell the world that you did the job. Go plant seeds with other choreographers. Hey, I just did this. Hey, I just did. If you ever need a dancer, before they actually have the big 600 person audition, plant that seed. Then be proactive. Yeah. Anyways, I can talk all day long about this stuff, but Alyssa, you got work to do.
Yeah.
All right, Hayden. Last question. Introduce yourself and what is your question?
Hi, I'm Hayden Milotowski. I live in Buffalo, New York, and my question is: when you got your first job, how were you able to adjust to that from doing normal standards to being your high standards in jobs?
I think the way for me I remember my first job, I was the youngest one. So I was 16, all the others. My first job was with Kim Gingras, Vincent Noiseux. All the big LA dancers on tour were back then in Montreal because the best dancers are from Montreal. And then, so they were quite a few years over than me. So I was like, let me just look at everything. Let me just be a fly on the wall. So the first few jobs, I just was there looking, observing, and not trying to do anything wrong. So that was my way of being like, okay, I don't know anything here. I have no knowledge. Let me just learn. So I would observe. I would always be listening, looking, making sure I would look at the choreographer. If there's something, I would catch it. I would hear it. And then that became a habit that's now always with me of I have 7 ears and I'm just always attentive. And then the more I had experience, the more I wanted to stand a standard for also the other dancers around me by showing up to the best of my ability. So being on time, all these little criteria that you already know, I would not neglect any of them. I would always, always, always make sure to be the person you wanted to call. So that's how I kind of went from just not talking, doing nothing, to observing all the habits from everybody, even the bad ones. So I don't do the bad ones. And I would just try to pile that up. And then once you're comfortable, it's to not be comfortable. Because when you're comfortable, then that's when you're lazy. That's when you show up late because, it's my homie. Oh, it's my friend. And that is a big mistake in the industry because you got to show the same respect because there's also other people around. These people might be their first job. They need to look up to you and be like, this is what I got to do. So that's how I try to grow just by still observing. It's a very good quality to observe everything, to listen. If you listen and the director says something, the choreographer will come give the note after. But you already heard it. You're already aware of what's going on. So yeah, does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes,
Yeah?
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Hayden. All right. Well, Alex, before we go, do you have any final words?
Just believe in yourself. This is I'm going to be brutally honest. It's a very hard industry. It's very tough. Not many are going to last forever. But the time that you're going to spend in this industry, if you're having fun and making friends and living experiences, not many people get to have people clap at themselves. We get that much. For us, it's normal to be on stage and have people cheer. It is not normal. It's a beautiful privilege. So even if you do this for 5 years, take those 5 years with something that's bigger and that's so cool. And if you do this for 16, 20 years, then I'm hoping you get to that point, because now I'm having fun. It's really, really cool. But just wherever the path leads, know that everything you're putting, the effort, the time, the money, will change you as a person, as a human, as a creator, and you will, whatever you do, will be impacted by the dancer and the time and the investment you're doing. And if you do a full career, then enjoy the ride. It's beautiful. Like, we travel the world, we dance on music that we like sometimes, not all the time. We get to be with friends. We get to like go backstage, have VIP passes, be in spaces where normal people are not allowed to go. Enjoy those moments. Like, when you're caught in that moment, take a second and like look around. I'm doing this. Whether it's a small win or a very big win, take those moments to be like, wow, I'm backstage. I've worked the past 5 years nonstop to try to get there. Even if it's not FIFA World Cup tomorrow morning, I'm having it 16 years after starting my career. It's okay, you got time. But just enjoy dancing, enjoy having fun, and help each other. Like, look at all of you. You know people from around the world. That's a very good blessing. And if you come to Canada, hit me up. There's a first connection. Hey, I was in Menina's Zoom, and those are how you build those relationships. This is how you get to a further point, by not letting those moments fall.
Well, speaking of connecting with you, what is the best way for the dancers to connect with you?
Instagram.
All right. What is your handle?
Or if it's professional work, like if you're trying to send a resume or a demo reel, on my Instagram, there's an email little button. Always email for those type of professional stuff. If it's more just a connection or like, hey, I'm coming in town, just a little Instagram. We're all connected to Instagram. Oh, everybody.
Love that. Well, on behalf of the business of dance, we want to send you lots of love and appreciation. I'm happy and proud to say I was a small part of your journey when you were a young boy. So it's been beautiful to watch you just grow into the human that you are, and continuing to do what you love in different shapes and different ways that you never even imagined. And dancers, I hope that gives you the inspiration to also pursue your dreams, because I met him when he was about your age and didn't even really understand that this could be a career. At least you guys understand that part. You understand that you are a business. So you're already ahead of the game. So if he accomplished what he's accomplished with the little information that he had many years ago, the sky's the limit for all of you. So Alex, c'est un plaisir. It was so good to see you. All the best and congratulations on all your big wins. And I look forward to seeing how your career blossoms. And I will laugh at you when you become creative director.
I will screenshot this moment and I'll get back to you.
Whether it's 10 years or 20 years from now, I'd be like, that done, Menina. I am relentless and I'm calling it out now. It's a natural progression,
Yeah.
A lot of choreographers end up going into creative direction. It's just a natural thing that happens. I mean, you're already directing your own and producing your own projects. So how is that much really any different? A different animal, different lane of the same beast at the end of the day.
Different responsibilities, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, dancers, be sure to send him your messages of gratitude after this call. Thank you so much, Alex. Stay in touch. All the best. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.